So, Toby and I are at the Linn County Democratic Convention right now, and I should also say we've been here since 7:45 this morning. We're still not done yet. We're actually on a break because the Hillary supporters haven't yet ratified set all their delegates. Bernie has. And clearly we're supporting Bernie. I'll say two things here. First, not telling you who to vote for. Vote with your own conscience, vote with your own heart, vote on your own issues. We've chosen the issues we want to vote for. Second, though, is also to say that democracy is messy. We have had a very messy convention right now with technology issues, people not showing up, so you got to process alternates, just a whole slate of problems that I don't think anybody foresaw. But I hope gets back to the Iowa Democratic Party and say, hey, this is messy, too messy. People who really did want to be engaged in the process got disenfranchised and left. Needless to say, it's still been fun, despite being messy, despite being hard, despite sitting for 5 hours. It's been a good day. Hey, and hopefully we'll get our delegates in, we'll get their delegates in, we'll get it all ratified, and then I think we're heading for hockey, because I don't want to sit through platform. But more later. Enjoy.
We are at Washington High School in beautiful Cedar Rapids. We have been here since about 7:45 this morning for the Linn County Democratic Convention. Since we were elected as delegates to Bernie's group at the Iowa caucuses, we are here doing our democratic duty, or civic duty as Mike wants to put it. It is currently about 6 o'clock at night. We got going at about 8:30. Then we had to wait for the seating of the delegates, the alternates, for the people who couldn't be here today. So while we were waiting for the alternates to be selected, we listened to various candidates do speeches, which actually most of them were quite good. We broke for lunch about 11:40. And very nice lunch, box lunch, well worth it. Had some great conversations with the people around us. And at about 1:30, they finally seated the last of the delegates. 1:30. At this point, at about 2:30 or so, 2:15, we broke into our groups. Hillary has to select their delegates. Bernie has to select their delegates to go to district and state conventions and represent the Linn County group to select delegates to go on to the national convention. Interesting thing. Mike and I were originally supposed to be delegates, or at least wanted to be delegates all the way up through, but unfortunately we have conflicts on both days that the district and the state conventions are going. Finally, we get over to the other room where the Bernie supporters are supposed to be, and we need to select 63 delegates, and then any alternates that want to be alternates. Number of alternates doesn't really matter, as long as we have the 63 delegates proportioned to us through caucus night. Paperwork and technology has been working against the convention all day. Basically, it was said, if you don't have the availability of time commitment, it would be wise to accept being an alternate, which at all these levels, alternates will be seated in some capacity, in terms of, if you can't, there were supposed to be like 300 some odd people here today as delegates. 107 showed as alternates. And many of those actually did get seated because we had people not show. I think it was 107 that did not show that were delegates, and all those seats, except for 4, were seated. So at that point, we had almost 90 people still wanting to be delegates. And it was said and suggested, we need 63. Is anybody willing to become an alternate to get to that number? And we did. We got to that number. The problem being is not all the delegates were in the room. A. Then the rules committee came in. And away we went. It took us 2 hours to select our delegates. And we are going... Then we all have to come back together and not only ratify the slate of people, then we have to do something else to ratify it again. I would say that between the technology and the snafus, this is getting ridiculous, folks. And I would honestly think several times and very hard about being a delegate to the next levels. I am irked. Like I said, it's 6 o'clock at night. We had hockey tickets that started at 7:05. The problem now stands. There's no way we're going to make the game. The next problem is there is the rules and various planks in the platform that we have to vote on, which means discussions, votes, motions, all that happy horse shit. So over the course of the day, I would say almost half, if not more, of the delegates have left. Unfortunately, their votes don't count. Our votes for the platform, which is all the issues that a party wants to campaign on. A lot of angry people, a lot of pissed people. And even after all the things that we went through in the band room, we have to ratify it all over again. What's the fucking point? Almost 8 hours, 5 of it, doing nothing at all. I did get into the second panel of my panel, or second skein of my panel. And it's tedious, it's pointless, but we're better than Polk County. Apparently Polk County at 5:30 in the afternoon still hasn't gotten to separate out so that their various candidates can select their delegates. Think about that one. They start at the same time, almost 8 hours, and shit ain't done in Polk County. Don't know what Mike's thinking. I know he is worried about me. I know he's trying to manage me a little bit, but the more he manages me, the more pissed I get. Democracy is hard. It's a hard process to do, but ultimately, it's a great thing if you can do it. And people all over the world are fighting just to get the chance we have. So, bitching and moaning aside, I'm glad I'm able to do something like this. If we were able to go up to a higher level, we would. Tell you the truth, I really would run for campaign. Seriously, as days go on, and the more shit I see in the world, I am seriously considering running for candidacy, locally and statewide. But at the same time, I don't know if I could be elected, let's face it. So, I've talked for 12 and a half minutes now. I'm going to pause because I'm enjoying walking outside. And I shall talk at you later, people. Bye. Okay, here is how the Iowa Linn County Democratic Convention finally ended. 7:30 or so at night. We did get all the delegates by Hillary done. We were supposed to be working on the platforms, the planks of the various issues that Linn County Democrats stand for. And so while they were waiting the tabulation, we went ahead and started doing the platform to the final business of the day, which is ratifying all the delegates and all the work that was done. yeah, that was 7:30 at night. We did have twice a motion to go ahead and put all the ratifications first as soon as possible, but that was not allowed because, again, procedure. And if it had been allowed, we probably would have lost another 50 or so people who were just waiting to ratify the delegates. And ultimately, Mike and I missed the hockey game. We were too frazzled, we were too fried, and it was already 35 minutes into the game, so there was no real opportunity to get a parking spot, and we would be mean and contemptible. So we dropped our friend off, and then we went home, and we kind of finished the day. So that is how that day ended.